Welcome to this Making Sense of Marketing webinar on 13 key steps to help turn your marketing from an expense into an investment. Are accountants right? Marketing is in fact an expense. Well, as Obi-Wan Kenobi said, may the force be with you. Now, he may have said that to wish people luck, but in this context, the power is with you to determine whether in fact your marketing will be an expense or an investment. So what exactly is a definition of an investment? Well, it'll depend on what dictionary you choose, but it's likely to be similar to this. The act of either putting money or effort into something in return for a profit or for a result. Marketing has the potential to certainly achieve a result for a business which can lead to profits. It may never under accounting standards be treated as an investment, but in pure business terms, effective marketing can be an investment. But like with all investments, it comes with no guarantees. You need to invest wisely. Let's see whether Sir Peter Leach, aka the Mad Butcher, considered marketing to be an investment. What we touched about early on is that you always saw marketing as an investment, not an expense.
100%.
So would that be a message to pass?
Don't be scared to spend money on your advertising because it's like if you do your shop up, you're investing in your future. You're investing in your future. You know, if you're spending money on advertising, here again, if I hadn't spent money on advertising, I wouldn't be sitting here with you now. I wouldn't have the house on Waiheke Island. You know what I mean? Yeah, no. In life, you invest in your future.
Yeah. So as we just saw, Sir Peter Leach considers marketing to be an investment. Now the purpose of this presentation is to assist you to turn your marketing into an investment with the help of 13 key steps. Just before we cover those steps, I do want to make you aware that at the end of this presentation, I'm going to reveal a method of marketing which, once you know what to do, is free. You'll be able to reach people en masse, and it's potentially more effective than social media, yet few people take advantage of this form of marketing. If you're serious about turning your marketing from an expense into an investment, then it's an absolute must to be part of your future plans. Okay, so what are the steps for you to turn your marketing from an expense into an investment? Step number 1, know your target market and develop your brand to cater to it. Everything starts with your brand. Ideally, you shouldn't be developing your marketing plan until you've identified your brand. Your brand is not something to remain static, but rather something that should evolve over time. It is critical for you to be very clear on what is the market that you're targeting and to develop your brand to cater to it. You want to own your target market.
I think everybody was over-intellectualizing beer a lot, and I was just trying to put the fun back into beer, how it was when I was in my late teens or early 20s, when beer, you know, halcyon days of summer and beer was fun. Just trying to put the fun back in beer. It's not overthink it. It's quite nice beer. And beer is the most subjective thing in the world. You know, so if someone likes a particular brand, that's great by me. If they like that, that's great by me. And that's what you find. People nowadays almost find a reason. It's got very political. You know, it shouldn't be that way. It's just beer. It's just beer or quite nice beer.
It's got
Don't make too big a deal
wine,
of it.
hasn't it?
Yes, it's exactly. It went down the wine route, and that people judge you on what beer you drank, and really it shouldn't be that way. So we just wanted to simplify it without cheapening it. Just really put the common sense back into it. It's quite nice. You know, if you don't like it, fine. Doesn't matter else. So that's where the quite nice beer came from a bit of a mistake, really.
How will this improve your return on your marketing? If you're clear on the vision for your brand and ensure that it translates across everything that you do and it's in tune with the market that you're targeting, then it will resonate with your target market and people will be drawn to you. The power of your marketing will be amplified. When people visited a Mad Butcher shop, what did it mean? Like in your mind, when you were building this business, and even with your first one, when people were coming to the store, what in your mind kind of were you wanting them to see and experience?
I wanted them to enjoy shopping at the Mad Butcher.
Yeah.
I wanted them to get value for money.
Yeah.
You know, and hence I introduced a money back guarantee.
Yeah.
You know, it was just simple stuff. You know, if you get too smart, it gets complicated.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
Step 2, dare to be different both with your brand and your approach to marketing. By making your brand different, it will help to make it more memorable and increase the effectiveness of your marketing. Being different can begin with a unique name, but can also include a unique look and feel, a unique offer, a unique way of doing things, and so on. That said, you don't want to overdo being different so that it no longer makes sense. Don't forget your market.
You show up there and you know that people might know you from TV, these wacky shows and speed cooking, speedo cops, whatever. They're always expecting you to be, idiot's not the word, but they're expecting something wacky all the time, that you're going to go the wacky route. Whereas for me, it's always been, hold on, that's just the top 2%, the wacky part. The common sense part that's the clever part. So, you know, they were expecting probably avocado power and lime flavoured chips or something.
Yeah.
So no, pretty much said, what are your top 3 sellers? And they said barbecue, salted, and salt and vinegar.
Yeah.
So I said, well, we'll do those, but we'll put a twist on them. We'll call it vinegar and salt instead of salt and vinegar, because straight away you've got a new flavour. But it's the same thing, without having to come up with a new flavour. And that's enough of the twist. That's the 2% wacky part that they'll get.
Being different also includes having a different approach to your marketing and trying things that others haven't. Now, some of this can be planned, and some of it can be a case of seizing the opportunity as it comes up. You need to think outside the square sometimes with your approach.
Round the Bays was a big thing a few years ago.
Yeah.
And so I thought, I'm going to enter a team, because there's a lot of people that don't work for a company or by themselves and want to be part of a team but aren't part of a team. So I come up with this idea, we'd get T-shirts printed and we'd have a barbecue afterwards and that. And I mean, one year we had about 300 in the run, you know, and everyone with Mad Butcher T-shirts. So we dominated within a way that round the Bays. And everyone wanted to come to our after party after the run, you know. But just doing things and thinking outside the square, you know, getting involved in rugby league, the Mighty Mangarees Hawks, you know. Another good story, the late chairman of the club, Colin Christian, come into the shop in Rosella Road and said, would you consider sponsoring the club? And I said, well, what sponsorship? I had no idea. He said, well, you give us a meat pack, we'll give you a plug. And then one day he said, why don't you come down to the club? And I went down there. They were my sort of people, lion red, you know, working class Polynesian Maoris.
Yeah.
And mate, I loved it. And next thing I'm, you know, gone from to be the manager of the Kiwis and turning rugby league or New Zealand Kiwis around.
Yeah.
And very involved in the Warriors, or the Vodafone Warriors.
Warriors.
Yeah. I slipped up then.
Consider Lee Hart's Snackachangi chips and Wackachangi beer. Also Peter Leach's The Mad Butcher. Did they follow the path of all those that came before them, or did they dare to be different? Do you think that they would have grabbed people's attention to the same extent if they just followed the path of everyone else? Your marketing can pack a greater punch if you dare to be different. Step number 3, you need to absolutely own your brand, which includes living up to your brand expectations. Owning your brand means that everything that you do as a business should be immersed in being the brand that you have envisaged. Watch this commercial to see how the Mad Butcher brand is encapsulated in the ad.
G'day, it's the Mad Butcher's fresh New Zealand beef sale. Sirloin steak only $16.99 a kilo. Steakments only $5.99 a kilo. Topside roast, topside steak and play steak, all only $8.99 a kilo. Chuck steak and gravy beef only $7.99 a kilo.
Your brand does not have to have a front person like Lee or Peter, but your business must consistently project the images and messages that you have envisaged. An important part of owning your brand is living up to the expectations that will be set in the minds of your audience based on your branding projections. I noticed, like both with your beer and your chips, you use the taglines "quite nice beer" and "quite nice chips." Tell me about how that came about and why the understated approach.
Well, as I say, the quite nice beer thing came from when we first had some samples of the beer, and the Harrington's brewery guy sent me an email saying, okay, these are your options. You've got the summer lager one that we do. We've got the winter lager, blah, blah, and he had a tagline by each one. Might be a bit hoppy. This one is probably not for you. A dark drinkable beer, and the other one was some other lager, quite nice beer. So I said, well, that'll do. That's kind of it.
Yeah.
And the understatement of that, we laughed. And that's enough. I mean, the people in the room laughed. It was, wacky changy, quite nice beer. And I think with that platform, coming from that sense of honesty, it makes it harder for people to undermine you.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, you said this was going to be the best beer ever. Oh,
Yeah,
it's
it's
shit. I hate it.
pretentious.
Oh, it's disgusting. But you go, hey mate, it's just beer. It's quite nice beer. You don't drink it. You don't want it. Don't drink it. And that's what we're about anyway.
Yeah.
And I think the chips was us probably learning from our mistakes to be more consistent and get that message across.
So what are examples of living up to expectations? Well, if your business is all about recycling, then make sure that is the case. You need to lead by example. Or if you say that you're available 24/7 or that you'll have a delivery to customers within 24 hours, then make sure that you do.
With the advertising, you got to back it up. Because I know a lot of people used to talk the talk, but when it come to the real goods, didn't back it up. Their service wasn't as good. And
If you don't live up to your brand expectations, then it will erode the effectiveness of your marketing. People will start to complain. Conversely, deliver as promised, then you will create lots of happy customers who will then enhance your marketing by their positive endorsement and referrals. Step 4. Set a marketing plan for the year. It is important that you plan in advance, including how much that you intend to spend. By creating your plan, you can ensure that you're consistently translating your brand objectives through your marketing. It is wise to set aside a contingency for unexpected opportunities, but most of your investment should be predetermined. A lack of planning is a key reason why people never see marketing turn into an investment. The knee-jerk approach to marketing very seldom works. Now, before creating your new marketing plan, always remember to review last year's plan. Work out what worked and what didn't, and what objectives need to change for this new year. Now, need a template for your marketing plan? At the end of this presentation, I'll tell you about how you can get a copy of our free one-page marketing plan template. Step 5. Get budget expenditure timing right. To a certain degree, your budget should be inversely related to your turnover. If the business is performing well and is close to capacity, then this is a time that you should set aside some of your marketing budget for a rainy day. Don't fall into the trap of spending more when your turnover is up and less when your turnover is down. When your turnover is down is the time when you need to spend more on your marketing to help you get over the slump. As part of your annual review, you should consider your budget for the previous year. How did it perform? What were your goals in that year? And what was the economic climate like at the time? What are the economic projections for the coming year? And what are the goals for the business in the next year? When setting your budget, you need to break it down into different components. Identify the purpose of each, from brand building to generating direct sales. Some of that expenditure will need to be committed to up front, whereas a lot of it may be earmarked for a particular purpose but is not locked in. If during the year you find things are going particularly well and you're at or close to capacity, then don't spend the remaining marketing budget that's been allocated to generate direct sales. Put that money into a contingency fund to be spent when you need it most, when things aren't going so well. Even when your business is at or near capacity, still keep spending your budget allocated to branding. Your branding budget needs to be considered separately to your budget to generate direct sales. Your expenditure on branding should be a constant. It's an investment in your future. Too many people exacerbate their problems by either reducing or stopping their marketing when they need it most, when turnover is down, on the basis that they can't afford it. Be smart and create a contingency fund when things are going well. Step 6. Upskill yourself on marketing. Now, just to be clear, when you started out and opened your first butcher shop, you didn't have a background in marketing at all, did you?
I had no background in anything. I didn't even know how to run a business.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I learned it all by error.
Now, I'm not suggesting that you should become a marketing guru, as I don't think that that would be the best use of your time. But it would be very beneficial if you at least had a reasonable level of knowledge. Now, Making Sense of Marketing has been created specifically to help business owners increase their knowledge. Now, in order to develop your brand, your marketing plan, and to choose the right marketing platforms, you'll get far greater value with that increased knowledge. That knowledge will enable you to know what to expect with what you are doing and to be better able to strategically plan for the future. Going to the extreme of doing everything yourself is potentially a big mistake. One or two things is likely to happen. Either you don't end up learning properly and you waste a lot of time and money, or you spend so much time becoming an expert that your business suffers as you no longer have time for other parts of your business. Gain knowledge on marketing to help you make better decisions, but don't be fooled into thinking that you know it all or that you need to know it all and you end up doing it all yourself. Step 7. Know what to do yourself and what to get others to do. Pick your battles and know when to strategically retreat. There are some parts of your marketing that you should be doing yourself, and there are other parts that for the cost, you'd be much better to call in an expert and oversee their work. At all times though, be confident that you know your target market best, and don't be scared to give your opinion when using outside help with your marketing.
It's your instance, it's your product, you know it best, whether you like it or not, you do, and just trust your own instincts and let them help you, but don't let them run over you or run with it, you know.
Social media posting, in my opinion, should be driven by the business and not by an outside contractor. Why? Because nobody knows your business and what's going on in your business like you do. Now, unless you're prepared to pay for an outside contractor to come in and spend lots of time getting to know what's happening in your business, then you should do it yourself. Yes, get advice or tips from an expert to help upskill you to know what to do, and maybe get some additional filler content from them or get them to upload the content for you, but you need to drive your social media posting. The same can be said for email marketing. This is something that you should be doing yourself. No one is closer to your business or your clients than you, so you and your staff are best qualified to manage your email marketing. Once you learn what to do, it should be scheduled on your calendar and just become part of your routine. With Facebook and Google Ads, in most instances I would recommend using an outside contractor. Why? Because it takes years of ongoing training and experience to get the best out of this type of advertising. You can't easily replicate that, and for a few $100s a month in management fees, you're much better off to spend your time on things that you are an expert at. You need to ensure that your priorities are correctly aligned so that you create the most value in your business. Those few dollars that you may save in not using an outside contractor may be far less than what you can create if you use that time in other parts of your business. Step 8. Choose the right platforms. Different platforms are suitable for different markets and for different outcomes. It's extremely important that you understand what platforms and products within each platform will best reach your target market and help you with what you're trying to achieve. Should you be on Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, Instagram, and so on? Should you be using Google search ads? Or maybe Google display ads? So what about Facebook or LinkedIn ads? They're not all the same and they all have their strengths and weaknesses. One platform may be better for educating people, whereas another may be better for generating direct sales. If you choose the wrong platform to reach your market or the wrong platform for your intended goal, you won't maximise your investment.
Oh, I'd say radio, to be fair.
Yeah?
Radio made the mad butcher.
Right.
Radio made the mad butcher. You know, I still love radio.
Yeah.
Not as powerful as it used to be.
Yeah.
I still write a column for the local papers.
Oh, okay.
For stuff, yep.
Yeah.
Goes in the Manukau Courier and the Western Leader and goes in papers around the country. Yeah.
So from what you can remember, you were on radio quite a bit before TV. TV was a lot more recent.
Definitely. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
TV was an afterthought.
Right.
No, radio. Radio Pacific, Tim Bickerstaff.
Yeah.
And then ZB come to me and wanted me to advertise with them, but they didn't do phone outs. So I said, no phone outs, because I knew that was the secret to my advertising.
Right.
So then they reluctantly agreed to it.
So can you just explain for everyone listening to this or watching this what a phone out is? What does that mean?
Phone out is when they would, in my day, they would phone you live and you'd go to air.
Oh,
and
right,
you would
okay.
have 90 seconds or something, you know.
Yeah.
And you would do the special, then you'd have a bit of laugh, you know. And
Yeah.
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 Yeah, but they were very successful for me.
Step 9, be consistent. From a marketing point of view, it means consistently conveying the brand's image and messages across everything that you do. Through consistency comes strength, which will help amplify the effectiveness of your marketing. Take Wakachangi beer and Snackachangi chips as an example. By having consistent branding, those that know the beer but not the chips, or vice versa, are able to make the connection. That connection has seen not only the chip sales go well when they were recently introduced, but the beer sales increased too.
This was the original label for the beer,
Yeah.
and this is the current label for the beer, which is similar to the branding, the box, the whole box.
Yeah.
Brent and I were quite adamant that and this is the tongue-in-cheek aspect of the whole thing. So we designed that box, as I mentioned, to stand out in the bottle store. So that has to be wacky and crazy. But then we went and did something which I'm sort of contradicting myself from everything I've said, that went totally against that. We almost undermined it on purpose, because we imagined that this will be sitting in bar, chillers, etc. So we purposely made it as old school and established as we could. Mm-hmm. So that was we were trying to do two things at once. Once we were trying to be wacky and stand out, and that was kind of easy. And the other thing we're trying to do, hold on, let's pretend we've been around since 1648 apparently. 1648. So why not make it look like Coke or Budweiser or Heineken? So part of me still likes that, because it's more in keeping with sort of the dry humour. You know, the more you own a gag, and the devil's in the detail with all the stuff, and, you know, as opposed to wacky. You know, you hate it when you do a TV thing or something and they do a promo photo, and because it's a comedy show and you got to do wacky sort of, you know, it's this sort of stuff, as opposed to, you know, serious sort of stuff. So we're trying to be very serious, tongue-in-cheek, serious about the comedy with this, make it look real. But ironically, that was kind of undermining from that. And we would have stuck with that, except we got the beer into Australia, right, which was a big coup. You know, McCashins and Nelson pretty much pushed that through. And Aussie said, yeah, that's great, but we want the label to be like the box.
Yeah.
And they insisted on that. And
Really?
Brent and I were going, oh, why? And no one else seemed to care. And but we're not going to say no, because that was a big opportunity. Because I think, because they do single bottle sales in Australia a lot, so that will be sitting on the shelf like that.
Yeah.
And
that stands out.
one of our other fears was, if we had a label like this, that it would look very crafty. And because all craft beers tend to have these funky labels, we wanted to have, you know. So we kind of are shooting ourselves in the foot by trying to be too too clever. So they changed the label. We changed the label, and it's better. So it's great to be proven wrong. And what's more, it's consistent now. Because I knew when we brought the cans out, that we would be using that whole label. So, which I wanted to do. So why would you? You know, not that's sort of marketing 101 or something, isn't it?
Yeah, you want to be consistent across the brand. As Lee has indicated in the interview, he now realises he made the mistake of not making the bottle labelling consistent with all the other branding. If you're inconsistent, then it'll undermine your goal to achieve brand recognition in the market. Now, when you introduce a new product or service, your brand should help amplify the result. Without that consistency, however, the opportunity may be lost. And so for you, when you were doing the franchise, was it central to the franchise you wanted to make sure that whatever store they went in, that they had the same experience?
Within reason,
Yeah.
because you can't transplant me into every store, you know. But certainly the meat was the same, the prices were the same, the sausages, you know, We had Sausage Heaven, where we made all the sausages, you know, so they were consistent. There used to be a brand out called Peach Products, and they used to make a pork sausage. In its day, the best in the country. Why? Because it was consistent.
Right.
Part of life, consistency, you know, with product, and that is key, you know. And don't bullshit people. If it's not good, you tell them it's not good.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, be honest.
Yeah.
And by being honest, you build up your integrity and credibility with your customers.
Yeah, I think so.
Trust you.
Yeah.
And I mean, McDonald's themselves, I mean, their success is largely based on their consistent product. Whether you like it or not, you know that you can go into any McDonald's around the world and pretty much get the same thing. Consistency also means from an advertising placement point of view. If you want to be found, consistently show up in the same places. If you keep changing the location of your advertising, then you're decreasing the odds of being found. Now, if you're consistent, then people will begin to join the dots, and the power of your marketing will begin to be amplified. Without consistency, then your marketing may appear disjointed and be less effective. Step 10. Give it time to work. This is about being consistent with what you do for an extended amount of time before passing judgment. Too often people commit to advertising using a particular channel and then give up too soon due to either impatience or unrealistic expectations. Ensuring that you understand the nature of what you're doing and what to typically expect will help to give you the patience to persist where required. The price for not giving it time to work is a potential missed opportunity and a reduced likelihood of turning your marketing into an investment. Step 11. Understand the purpose of your marketing and ensure your expectations align. This is an incredibly important point. If you follow my advice in step 6 and increase your knowledge on marketing, then you'll be in a good position to get this step right too. Too often you see or hear examples of people that have a complete mismatch of their expectations with the marketing that they are undertaking. An example of that would be giving out free t-shirts with your brand printed on it and then complaining that it didn't bring in a lot of sales of your products or services. Giving out the t-shirts is about getting your brand known, which will ultimately help your sales, but it's not likely to result in a lot of immediate sales. With digital marketing, there are a variety of products, but they're not all equal. Some are better suited to building your brand by enhancing your visibility in the market, whereas others are designed to generate more immediate sales. Not everything that you do should be about creating immediate sales. Some of what you do needs to be about laying the platform for future sales. You need to know the purpose of your different marketing strategies so that your expectations are aligned, you're not disappointed, and you maximize your results. Step 12. Measure results. If you want to maximize your investment, then you need to measure results wherever possible. Some initiatives will be easier to measure than others, but be analytical as much as possible and understand the limitations of your analysis.
How do you know if it's working in the market? So what we would do, we would design, the second time around, we designed the box. So we've got no staff, we've got no reps on the ground. So this box has to be seen in the bottle store. If people are looking for it, they've got to be able to see it.
That's critical.
So Brent and I would sit in the office and would would design a box and would print it out here in the office and, glue it and turn it into a box. And I'd run down to the bottle store, my local one, and say, Tim, how you going? Yeah, good, mate. Can I just put this in your chiller for a second? And Brent's going to come down and see if we can find it. Great. So I'd just be here. And then 5 minutes later, Brent will walk in, hey, Tim, walk in, and he'll go in the chiller and go, nah, couldn't see it. Really? It's right there. So we would tinker with it until he would walk in and he couldn't miss it. So that was that kind of thing. But then that sorts out the packaging. But then how about the beer? So when we did it with McCashins, once again, we're in such a rush to get it out before Christmas, before the summer, that we knew that the first batch of beer was literally going to be coming out in the bottle stores before we'd even tried it. We didn't have a chance to, because it was like a 5 or 6 week sort of process to make the beer, and we could have messed around for another 5 weeks. We would have missed the summer. Right. So I said, I'll just go for it. And the first one came out. I had to go to the bottle store and
to try your own beer.
Tried it and went out and went home. Ooh, I don't know. Could be a bit hoppy. And then I ring up Brent. What do you think? yeah, it might be a bit hoppy for me. Then Scott, who's McCashin, who's at the brewery, and he's going, yeah, it could be a bit hoppy. So I'd go, look, why don't we drop the hops down by 5% in the next batch? I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what 5% means, if that makes a big difference or not. And he didn't either. He said, okay, we'll do that. Next one came out. Oh, that's right. So what we'd do, you'd go to a friend's barbecue, as you would, and, you know, there's a chili bin and everyone brings their beers and puts them in the communal bin. What we'd found from that first batch, at the end of the night at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, everyone's sort of leaving, there's only a few beers left, and they're our beers. You know, all the others gone, the Peronis, the Heinekens, they're all gone, our beers were left. So that's all the research we needed, is that for some reason, you know, it wasn't quite there. And we did this process a couple of times, go to the barbecue, there's only a couple of ours left, and some others as well. And then the last time, into the barbecue, ours have all gone, and there's other people's beers still there. So that's all you could do.
Right.
Or you could go off to get a big room of research centre, and you get no information out of that.
No.
It has to be, I suppose, okay, there you go. Real world research is a very good thing to do when you don't have a budget, you know.
As you can see in the video, Lee didn't have a budget for getting professionals to undertake market research, but they came up with their own way of testing. It can be argued it was small scale, but they conducted repeated tests and refined until they were happy with the outcome. Whatever your approach, be aware of its limitations and ensure that you don't draw conclusions well beyond the evidence that you have. Step 13. Understand your customer journey. It's imperative that you put yourself in the shoes of a potential customer and understand how they may behave in order to maximise your marketing budget. By doing so, you can anticipate their behaviour and identify flaws in what you're doing. If you don't think like a customer, you're at risk of making the wrong decisions, not only about what you do, but also your analysis. Take someone that is contemplating changing their car. They're probably not going to watch a 20-minute video about a new model. At that stage, a 30-second video is more likely to be appropriate. But when they are close to buying, that's when they're more likely to watch that 20-minute video. Depending on where a person is in their purchasing journey, regardless of the product or service, it will impact on what they will and will not respond to. By understanding that journey, you can cater for where they are in the process. The job of your advertising that is targeted at generating sales is to get people to take action. That action is to call you, visit you, or go to your website. What happens after that is up to you. Don't blame the ads if people respond to them but you don't make a sale. The ads have done their job. You need to think about how you manage that call, that visit to your store, or that visit to your website, knowing what you know about your target market. Talking specifically about your website when you get a new visitor to it, how are you going to convert them into a sale? If your website doesn't take payments, then the job of your website is to compel people to either call you or visit your store. Try to think as a potential customer and ask yourself whether your website has done enough to get people to take action. Your website has a job to do in the customer journey. Don't create a website and then forget about it. Your website should be considered as part of your sales team and treated accordingly. As Sir Peter Leach suggests, you need to see marketing as an investment.
Yeah. See, a lot of people, no advertising. I say to people, you're investing in your future. If you don't invest in your future, it's not going to blossom. And so even today when people ask me certain things, I say, no, you're investing in your future. And you just want to try to make sure you do it right. You'd be surprised the amount of people that say to me, advertising doesn't work. And I look them straight in the eye and say, you must be an effing idiot. You know, I mean, look at me where I am, you know, where I went to. And it's, mate, through advertising, you know. Things like Round the Bays that we took hold of, you know. Advertising in the local papers, you know.
So I've got a question for you. Like, if you had your time again and you simply had a mundane name for your butcher shop, not the Mad Butcher, just some regular name like the name of a street or something, and you relied on word of mouth and basic advertising, how different do you think the outcome would have been compared to what actually
Well, I wouldn't
happened?
be talking to you here today.
You wouldn't,
right?
would you?
No comparison. I mean, the personality, the type of guy I was, or became, you know,
Yeah.
because I wasn't always confident. I had a big marketing genius say to me one day, do you realise your brand is up there with the Coca-Colas in New Zealand, in New Zealand? I said, no, you're joking. He said, yeah, it is. He said, we've done a bit of research and,
Yeah.
you know, your brand is very strong.
To summarise, the 13 key steps to help you turn marketing from an expense into an investment are: Step 1. Know your target market and develop your brand to cater to it. Step 2. Dare to be different, both with your brand and your approach to marketing. Step 3. Absolutely own your brand, which includes living up to your brand expectations. Step 4. Set a marketing plan each year. Step 5. Get budget expenditure timing right. Step 6. Upskill yourself on marketing. Step 7. Know what to do yourself and what to get others to do. Step 8. Choose the right platforms. Step 9. Be consistent. Step 10. Give it time to work. Step 11. Understand the purpose of your marketing and ensure your expectations align. Step 12. Measure the results. And finally, step 13. Understand your customer journey. If you follow our 13 steps, you'll be well on your way to ensuring that your marketing is an investment for you. If you want a hard copy of this presentation or a copy of our PowerPoint presentation, they're both located under this video on our website. Just go to msofmarketing.com and click on the Making Sense of Marketing video series tab, which is found on the top line of our website directory. Now, at Making Sense of Marketing, we're determined to help small businesses succeed. Key to following through on our 13 steps is the creation of a marketing plan. What we see are potential impediments to that happening are: 1. No perceived time to create one. 2. Don't know how to write a plan. We don't want those concerns to stop you, so we have got you covered. We've got a solution for both issues and more. Take our suggested action plan. Go to msofmarketing.com/SBS and take our free Q2 test. It will show you that you have more time than you think, so that you can find the time to take these 13 steps. 2. On completion of the test, we will also forward to you our one-page marketing plan template that you can then use to create your marketing plan. 3. To help you out with step 6, go to msofmarketing.com/resources and sign up to get access to our free resources. This will help you upskill your marketing knowledge to help you make better decisions. In closing, you may recall that at the beginning of this presentation, I said that at the end, I would reveal a free form of marketing that many small business owners are not taking advantage of, but should. So what is it? Email marketing. Regardless of your business, you should all be doing email marketing, just to varying degrees. Why? Well, 1, once you know how to do it, it's free. 2, it goes directly to your clients. 3, if used properly, it enables you to create a connection with your clients or prospects, which can lead to greater loyalty and trust. 4, you're not reliant on a platform's algorithms to show it to your clients or prospects, unlike Facebook and Google. And 5, the data you get gives you direct feedback that you won't get from other options. It'll tell you things like who opened your emails and who clicked on your links. And 6, you can make it personal but still send it out en masse. The only reason not to do email marketing is because you don't know how to. We've taken care of that problem for you too. Just go to msofmarketing.com and then click on Courses, followed by Find Out More to learn more about our video-based course to teach you all that you need to know for email marketing. We've kept it simple so that anybody can learn. Each video is no longer than 15 minutes, so there really are no excuses for not having the time. Hear what others have to say about the course and get those frequently asked questions answered. Master the cheapest form of marketing with bite-sized, uncomplicated, step-by-step videos. Sign up now and get the jump on your competition. Making sense of marketing, the first place to go to get help with your small business marketing.